Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Inkwell Stories. I'm Sophie, and today's topic is very close to my heart because it touches something many of us quietly struggle with when learning English.
And I'm Leo. We were talking before recording, and honestly, this topic came from our own frustrations.
Yes, many late-night thoughts and uncomfortable memories. Today, we're talking about something simple but powerful. Your mouth needs training, not grammar.
That sentence sounds almost rude at first, but when you really think about it, it explains so much about why people understand English well but still feel stuck when speaking.
Exactly! If you've ever said, I know the rules, but I can't speak, this episode is for you.
We'll talk about fear, habits, small daily practice, and why your mouth feels frozen even when your brain knows the answer.
Stay with us, and if this episode speaks to you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And don't forget, there is a PDF with the full conversation if you want to read and practice later.
All right, let's start. Leo, I want to begin with something honest. For years, I believed my problem was grammar. I thought, if I learn one more tense, one more rule, then I'll finally speak. But nothing changed.
I can really relate to that. I used to collect grammar books like trophies, but when someone asked me a simple question, my mind went blank and my mouth refused to move.
That moment is so painful. You feel smart inside, but outside you sound quiet or unsure, and people think you don't know English at all.
Yes, and that's when shame enters the room. You start saying things like, I'm just not good at speaking, even though the real problem is practice, not intelligence.
I remember once ordering coffee abroad. I had practiced the sentence in my head perfectly, but when it was my turn, my voice disappeared. My hands were shaking, and I just pointed at the menu.
That's such a common story. Your brain knows the words, but your mouth hasn't learned the movement yet. Speaking is physical, not just mental.
Exactly. And this is where today's idea comes in. Your mouth needs training. Just like muscles at the gym, it needs repetition.
I like that comparison. You wouldn't expect to lift heavy weights without training your body, so why do we expect fluent speech without training your mouth?
Let's explain one useful expression here. Go blank. It means your mind suddenly feels empty, even if you know the answer. That happens a lot in speaking situations.
And when we go blank, we usually blame ourselves instead of the situation. We think, I'm bad at English, instead of, I'm not used to speaking yet.
What about you, Leo? Was there a moment when you realized grammar wasn't the main problem?
Yes, actually. I once met someone who spoke very simple English, with many mistakes, but everyone understood him. He spoke confidently, slowly, and without fear. That moment changed my thinking.
That's powerful. Confidence often matters more than perfection.
Exactly. Another expression we can share is get the words out. It simply means to speak, even if it's not perfect. Many learners wait too long before trying to get the words out.
I used to wait for the perfect sentence, but perfect sentences live only in notebooks, not in real conversations.
That's so true. Real conversations are messy. People pause, repeat themselves, and change sentences in the middle.
Let's talk about fear for a moment. Fear of sounding stupid, fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged.
Fear is often the biggest grammar rule people follow without noticing. It says, don't speak unless you are 100% sure.
And that rule kills progress. Here's another expression, break the habit. It means to stop doing something you do automatically. We need to break the habit of silence.
Yes, silence feels safe, but it keeps you stuck. Speaking, even badly, moves you forward.
I tell my students to practice speaking alone first. Talk to yourself while cooking or walking. Your mouth doesn't care if someone listens.
That's such good advice. Your mouth needs movement. Sound needs to come out regularly, not only inside your head.
Another helpful expression is step out of your comfort zone. It means doing something that feels uncomfortable but helps you grow.
Speaking English is exactly that. Uncomfortable at first, but easier every time you try.
Do you think people underestimate how emotional speaking is?
Absolutely. Speaking is personal.
It's your voice, your identity. When you struggle, it feels like something is wrong with you, not just your English.
That's why this topic matters so much. We're not talking about rules. We're talking about courage and daily habits.
And patience. Progress is quiet at first. You don't notice it day by day, but one day you realize you answered without translating in your head.
That moment feels magical.
It does, and it starts when you stop waiting for perfect grammar and start training your mouth instead.
Leo, something you said earlier stayed with me. You talked about answering without translating in your head. That moment feels small, but it's actually huge.
It really is. Translation is like a bridge, but if you stay on the bridge forever, you never arrive. Speaking training helps you slowly remove that bridge.
I remember the first time I noticed it. Someone asked me, "Are you tired?" And I said, "A little," without thinking. Later, I realized what had happened, and I almost smiled to myself.
I love moments like that. They show that speaking lives in your body now, not only in your brain.
Let's share another useful expression here. On the tip of my tongue. It means you almost remember a word, but it doesn't come out.
That happens a lot in speaking, and people panic when it happens, but it's actually a sign of progress. Your brain is searching faster than before.
Yes, but many learners stop speaking when that happens. They freeze and apologize again and again.
I used to do that too. Now I try to describe the word instead. Communication doesn't stop just because one word is missing.
That's such an important lesson. Speaking is not about perfect sentences. It's about keeping the conversation alive.
Exactly. Another expression that fits here is keep going. Even if your sentence feels broken, keep going. Don't stop your mouth.
I want to talk about accents for a moment. Many adults feel ashamed of their accent and think it makes their English bad.
That shame is heavy, but accents are not mistakes. They are stories of where you come from.
I once met someone who refused to speak because of their accent, but their writing was amazing. Such a waste of a voice.
Yes, and the funny thing is, native speakers usually don't care as much as learners think. They care about understanding, not perfection.
What about mistakes? Why do mistakes feel so dangerous?
Because mistakes feel public. When you write, you can erase. When you speak, the sound is already out there.
That's true, but mistakes are also proof that you're trying. Silence hides mistakes, but it also hides growth.
I always say this to myself. Every mistake is a step forward. No mistakes usually means no speaking.
Let's introduce another expression naturally here. Learn the hard way. It means learning through experience, not theory.
Speaking is definitely learned the hard way. You can't read your way into fluency. You have to speak your way there.
I think adults struggle more because they want control. Children don't care how they sound.
Yes, adults want to sound smart. Children just want to be understood. That mindset makes a big difference.
Do you remember a moment when you felt proud of your speaking, even if it wasn't perfect?
I do. I once had a long conversation where I made many mistakes, but the other person listened and responded naturally. I felt included.
Feeling included is everything. Language is connection.
Exactly. When you finally feel part of the conversation, grammar suddenly feels less important.
I often tell learners to practice short answers out loud. Simple things like, "I think so," or "I'm not sure."
That's great advice. Those small phrases train your mouth and give you time to think.
And they build confidence. Confidence grows from small wins, not big dreams.
Yes, and confidence changes how your voice sounds. Even simple English sounds better when spoken with calm energy.
There is also the issue of comparing yourself to others. Social media makes that worse.
Definitely. You see fluent speakers and forget how long they practiced. You only see the result, not the process.
That comparison can stop people from even starting.
That's why it's important to focus on your own mouth, your own voice, your own progress.
If someone listening feels stuck right now, what would you tell them?
I would say this: speak badly today so you can speak better tomorrow. Waiting doesn't make it easier.
That's such a strong message.
And it's true. Training your mouth is a daily choice, not a future plan.
I hope listeners feel less alone hearing this.
Me too. Everyone who speaks a second language has felt this fear. You're not broken. You're just in training.
Leo, let's talk about daily life for a moment. Many people say, I don't have time to practice speaking. But when I listen carefully, I hear something else.
You hear fear hiding behind the word time, right?
Exactly. Time is often just an excuse that sounds polite. The real issue is discomfort.
I agree. Speaking feels tiring at first. Your mouth feels strange. Your voice feels unfamiliar.
That slip actually proves the point. Your mouth is learning new movements, and it takes energy.
Let's share another useful expression here. Get used to it. It means something feels strange at first, but becomes normal with time.
Speaking English is exactly that. Strange at first, then slowly normal, and one day, natural.
I used to practice while driving. I would describe what I saw or talk about my day out loud.
That's a great habit. It removes pressure because no one is listening or judging.
And it trains your mouth to move without fear.
Fear really changes how your body reacts. Your throat tightens, your voice gets quiet.
Yes, and people think that means they're bad at English, but it's just stress.
Stress blocks language. Relaxation opens it.
Do you think schools focus too much on correctness and not enough on communication?
I do. Many learners grow up thinking mistakes are dangerous, so when they speak, their inner teacher is shouting.
That inner voice is so loud. It corrects every sentence before it leaves your mouth.
And by the time the sentence is ready, the conversation is already over.
That's why speed matters. Not speed like talking fast, but speed like responding naturally.
Exactly. Natural speaking is often simple and imperfect.
Here's another everyday expression we can introduce. Give it a try. It means to attempt something without expecting perfection.
Speaking English requires that mindset. Give it a try, even if your sentence feels weak.
Weak sentences become strong with repetition.
And repetition builds muscle memory. Your mouth starts to remember shapes and sounds.
I like that idea. Memory is not only in the brain, but also in the body.
That's why listening alone is not enough. You must respond, repeat, react.
Do you remember when you started thinking in English sometimes?
Yes, and it surprised me. I didn't plan it, it just happened, because English became part of my daily habits.
That's an important point. Fluency is often a side effect, not a direct goal.
Yes, when you focus too much on being fluent, you forget to be human in the conversation.
Being human means pausing, laughing, correcting yourself, and continuing.
Native speakers do that all the time, but learners think it's a failure.
Let's talk about silence again. Short silences are normal. Long silences are fear.
And fear loves silence. The more silent you are, the stronger fear becomes.
That's why small sounds matter. Even saying "let me think" keeps the conversation alive.
That phrase is so useful. It buys you time and shows confidence.
Another helpful expression is "take your time." It means there's no rush.
When someone tells you that, your shoulders relax, and suddenly words come easier.
We should tell listeners this clearly. You are allowed to take your time.
Yes, speaking slowly is not a weakness. It's clarity.
Do you think motivation comes before action or after action?
After action, usually. Waiting to feel ready keeps people waiting forever.
I agree. Speaking creates motivation, not the other way around.
Every small speaking moment sends a message to your brain. I can do this.
And that message gets louder with time.
That's how confidence grows, quietly and honestly.
If listeners remember only one thing from this part, I hope it's this. Your mouth learns by doing, not by waiting.
Beautifully said. Leo, as we reach the end of this conversation, I keep thinking about one simple question. Why are we so hard on ourselves when it comes to speaking?
I think it's because speaking feels like showing your real self. When the language is not perfect, you feel exposed, almost unprotected.
That's such an honest way to put it.
You're not just sharing words, you're sharing yourself.
Yes, and that's why progress feels emotional, not just technical.
I want to talk to the listener who understands everything but stays quiet in group conversations.
That silence can feel heavy. You want to join, but something holds you back every time.
I used to tell myself, I'll speak next time, but next time kept moving forward.
And silence slowly becomes a habit, a comfortable but painful habit.
Let's gently introduce one last useful expression here. Take the first step. It means starting, even when you're unsure.
Speaking always begins with that first step. One sentence, one sound.
It doesn't need to be clever or impressive.
It just needs to exist.
I love that. Speaking is not a performance. It's participation.
Exactly. You don't need applause. You need connection.
When learners finally allow themselves to speak freely, something changes inside.
They stop asking, is this correct? And start asking, am I understood?
And understanding is the real goal of language.
Yes, grammar supports communication, but it should never block it.
I hope listeners understand now that struggling doesn't mean failure.
It means you're in the middle of growth, and the middle is always uncomfortable.
Growth feels messy, progress feels slow, but silence feels worse in the long run.
That's such an important truth.
If someone listening feels discouraged today, what would you tell them directly?
I would say this, your voice deserves practice, not punishment. Be kind to it.
That makes me emotional, honestly.
Me too. So many people stop themselves before the world ever hears them.
Language opens doors, but only if you walk through them.
And you don't walk through by thinking. You walk through by speaking.
Even if your voice shakes.
Even if your sentence breaks,
Because every time you speak, your mouth learns, your fear shrinks, and your confidence grows.
Slowly, naturally, honestly.
I hope this conversation stays with our listeners after the episode ends.
and I hope it gives them permission to speak today, not someday.
Your mouth doesn't need more rules.
It needs more chances.
Thank you for sharing this space with me, Leo.
Thank you, Sophie, and thank you to everyone listening.
Remember, speaking is not the reward at the end of learning.
It's the path itself.
Leo, before we truly close, I feel like we should leave listeners with something calm and grounding. Not advice, not rules, just reassurance.
I agree. Sometimes people don't need more tips. They need permission to breathe and continue.
If someone listened to all of this and still feels afraid, that's okay. Fear doesn't disappear in one day.
Yes, fear fades through use, not force. You don't push it away. You slowly outgrow it.
I want listeners to remember that their silence was never laziness.
It was protection, and protection makes sense when something feels unsafe.
But now, maybe speaking can feel a little safer than before.
Even a little safety is enough to begin.
Speaking English is not about becoming someone else.
It's about letting more of yourself exist in another language.
Your voice doesn't need to sound perfect to be real.
And real voices are the ones people remember.
I hope after this episode, someone will try one small sentence today.
Not for fluency, not for success, just for movement.
Because movement breaks fear.
And practice builds trust with your own voice.
If English has felt like a wall, maybe now it can feel like a door.
A door you can open slowly, at your own pace.
Thank you for staying with us until the end.
And thank you for choosing not to give up on your voice.
Keep speaking.
Keep training your mouth.